and very good afternoon. In fact, close to evening to all of you. The August gathering present here. I am Dr. Varun Gulati, and I extend heartiest welcome to all of you on the behalf of Dr. Ambedkar International Center on this 4-5 long day program which has been conceptualized and designed by our young and dynamic IT consultant Ms. Vidushi, and we acknowledge the presence of all guests here, especially the one who are present here and the people who are virtually connected in this conclave or in this program. I also acknowledge the presence of our team inspiration, our leader, Madam Upma Srivastav. She is also joined virtually, and see, we all know that without men and women, this whole world is incomplete. In fact, both of them are serve as a wheel of one cart. Without one, even there is there is no proper balance. So perhaps that is the reason that I have been asked here to come and start the program. Thank you so much for this opportunity also. And now I would like to request our director Vikas Trivedi ji, who is also a very dynamic person. He has come from army, and he's serving here as a director of this institution, who is actually working as a captain of our team and captain of our ship, who is taking us into the board. So welcome Trivedi ji. Please do come here on the stage, and let's now officially start the program. So can I request you to just give a token of honor to all our guests?
That's a beautiful color. Especially for you. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. It's also a very beautiful color. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Varun Gulati ji, for kind words, and thanks for introducing everybody, the team DIC here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of DIC, I welcome you all for a week-long celebration of International Women's Day 2021 at DIC. As we all know, 8th of March is marked each year as an International Women's Day. This day, we all celebrate the social, economical, cultural, political achievements of women. We all must push and support for gender parity in all the spheres wherever we can make a difference. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji wanted women to have higher participation in all walks of life, especially in the political arena. He was highly influenced by the civil liberties and women emancipation movement in the West. The Indian Constitution which Dr. Baba Sahab gave to us talk about equality for all, irrespective of the sex. In fact, it goes a step further and empowers the state to make special laws for the benefit of the women. Today, we have invited renowned women advocates for a roundtable discussion on laws that protect women and their rights. I would like to welcome all the panelists of today, giving out their brief introduction. I welcome Advocate Priya Hingorani, ma'am. Ma'am is a senior advocate in the Supreme Court of India. She has completed her Bachelor's of Law from Delhi University. Apart from Supreme Court of India, she has also appeared in various high court and tribunals. She has a vast experience in the diverse field of law. Towards her left, I welcome Advocate Ravi Birbalji. She has been practicing since 2003 at Supreme Court of India, High Court, and various other courts. She is also a renowned speaker and has spoken at various prestigious platforms like Delhi Legal Service Authority, National Commission for Women, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, New York State Bar Association, and also at various college level functions. I also welcome Advocate Pooja Suri, ma'am. She is practicing at Supreme Court of India and has appeared at various courts. She is also a spokesperson of BJP and the honorary member of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She has been working for various social causes and associated with several political and social platforms. Lastly, I welcome Advocate Nirmala Singh, ma'am. She is practicing at Supreme Court of India and also at Delhi High Court. She is also the director of an NGO, Knowledge Sharing Trust. The NGO is dealing in the women's self-help group, promoting the women of all sections of the society. I once again welcome you all, ma'am. I am sure we all shall immensely learn from your experience and sharing of knowledge. Now I will request Vidushi to take on from here. Thank you so much. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Baba Saheb Ambedkar once said that I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress which women have achieved. International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. At Dr. Ambedkar International Center believes International Women's Day is a time to reflect on progress made, to call for change, and to celebrate acts of courage and determination by ordinary women who have played an extraordinary role in the history of our country and community. The world has made unprecedented advances, but no country has achieved gender equality so far. In ancient India, women enjoyed a very high position, but gradually their position degenerated into merely objects of pleasure meant to serve certain purpose. They lost their individual identity and even their basic human right. For Indian women movement, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar provided a powerful source of inspiration to fortunate a feministic political agenda which simultaneously addressed the issue of class, caste, and gender in the contemporary socio-political setup, which still keeps conservative and reactionary values it may respect, particularly to gender relations. Dr. Ambedkar saw women as victims of oppressive, caste-based and rigid hierarchical social system, which is why he wanted women to have higher participation in all walks of life, especially in the political arena. Even as a legislator under the colonial regime, Dr. Ambedkar was one of the first activists to root for the rights of working women. At each step, Ambedkar challenged the deep-rooted patriarchal foundations of Indian society and helped in drafting a constitution which was stood at the test of time. I would like to emphasize that in keeping the spirit of Dr. Ambedkar's vision, DIC believes that women have the power to create, nurture, and transform, and that women are the engines of enriching society. Today's discussion is dedicated to the contribution of Dr. Ambedkar on women empowerment and honoring the achievement of women by identifying and celebrating and increasing visibility of women achievement that can help forge equality and to celebrate women-led development initiative. Thank you. I would like to welcome all of you, ma'am. I would like to welcome each and everyone present here on the dais. Ma'am, first of all, we are here today talking about, we want to discuss about how Dr. Ambedkar has helped in women empowerment and what would be more beneficial than having very senior advocates right here in front of us who have fought for women rights. So to me, it means that all of us that have to be, we all are responsible to create this gender equal world. Sometimes I think we focus on the fact that it is just a problem solving for women that we need to change. But or sometimes we feel that the men need to change. But by the end of it, by the end of the day, I personally feel that it is that when we work together as men and women, we together can make the change happen. So, because you all are such senior advocates and you have fought so much for women's rights, I would like to first ask that, what what type of women in your life have seen, like, what kind of women have supported you in your moving ahead? Have there been any women that you look forward to or who have changed your path till where you have reached, ma'am? So, ma'am, can we begin with you, ma'am?
Good evening.
Volume.
Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? Otherwise, also, I guess. First of all, felicitations to all the people here on this occasion of Women's International Women's Day. And I'm very honored, and it's a pleasure for me that Vidushi has really, worked hard on getting me here till even an hour before. Thank you very much, Vikasji. And the beautiful, gorgeous women and the eminent lawyers, my legal fraternity sitting with me, sharing the dais here. I just want to answer Vidushi here. Vidushi, in my life, if you ask me personally, yes, women have really, really helped me a lot. And I totally deny that point where people say that women don't allow other women to grow. Because I have been very fortunate to get good women friends also, good women teachers also. In fact, the two most important women in my life are my mother and my daughter. And they are the biggest source of inspiration to me. Whatever I do in my life, and I am very honest in saying this today, whatever good I try to do in my life is just to make them, my mother and my daughter, happy and proud of me. And whatever good I am able to do till now, it is with the blessings of my mother. And I get inspired to see, because my mother had been a working lady, all her life. And I come from a business family, but despite that, my mother worked and she thought that she wants to make a career. And that's what I learned from her, the way she worked diligently, managing the family and managing the other things also. So I have been very fortunate to get the good company of lawyers, and then my seniors. I come from the chambers of Pinky Anandji. I'm sure most of them would have heard about her, since she's again a celebrity lawyer. Pinky Anandji and Geeta Luthraji, both of them are lawyers. And they have been very supportive, and I keep getting their guidance and blessings in other ways also. So again, today, and again, I'm sitting with the women lawyers only. So I think women have a very big role in my life. And since I also actively participate in politics also, I have been very fortunate to get some good blessings from late Sushma Swaraj. I had the opportunity to work with her very closely. In fact, I actively participated at the time of her elections while she was contesting for member parliament from constituency. And that's how I learned from her. And she taught me one thing. She used to call me 500, and this is very interesting incident. And I used to ask her, ma'am, आप मुझे 500 क्यों कहते हो? So she used to say कि पूजा, तुम मेरे लिए कितने वोट लेकर आओगी इलेक्शन में, वेरी सिंपल वे. सो आई सेड मैम मिनिमम 500. तो शी यूज टू कॉल मी 500, यू नो. एंड शी taught me one thing कि कुछ भी करें हम, whatever we do, even the smallest work, even when you make, even if you cook something in the kitchen, give your 100% there. Even if I'm here, I'm completely here. I should not think of anything else at that time. Enjoy that task completely. Whatever we do, उसमें अपना पूरी जान डाल दें, उसको 100% दे दें. चाहे वो काम छोटा हो या बड़ा, वो इतना निखर कर आएगा, इतना खूबसूरत आएगा कि मुझे लगता है कि उसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है. थैंक यू सो मच विदुषी.
Hello.
यस मैम. मैम आप बताइए आपकी लाइफ में कोई भी-
Yeah. Yes, I am working for women, and first of all, I thank you all, and especially Sir and Vidushi, for giving me this very, very nice opportunity, especially where I am speaking from core of my heart, being a SC and working with this institute. It is really pride for me. Dr. Saab has given us the opportunity. I am here because of all the teachings I have read, and I am giving the awareness all the women at grassroots level. Why we should do this? Because there is need to cover up the gap, because the gap is too much and people are not aware of all the sections, all the laws, and the higher authorities still they are not listening up to that level where we should help women. I have worked as an advocate Supreme Court. I have worked from ministries, WCD ministries, HRD ministry. I have seen that my passion to do work for this community especially. So I have left my practice and joined my own NGO, Knowledge Sharing Trust. It's a hand holding. One person who is giving knowledge, the other person is perceiving that. With that, we are empowering women to start at grassroots level and earn as well as learn. How? There are so many things they can start from home. Maybe they are, educated. Women has to play a very, very crucial note. Although we are saying we are the key, men and women in this society, that is one key. But I say, when we say the key, have everybody seen that the first part of the key is working and the ladies are the still lower part? So I am very much with them, and there is need to work on this field so that they could feel as they should feel. I think everybody is aware of this. Even a single rape, female feticide, anybody, the doctor or the person, this humanity's sake, have ever thought of this? That how much tortures women are, suffering. My Knowledge Sharing Trust is giving them good food to grow without adulteration, without pesticide, and to start your own venture as well as whatever you want to do. You should be feeling free. And you should not think that that person is, pressurize me to do this. I am facing sexual harassment. I am facing this. Because so many problems. If we talk about this, even at workplace, now the recent changes and the act and the laws have been given by Dr. Saab. It is the constitutional right and pride for all of us. I think in future, I would love to work with this institute and will work for them and will also give them the initiative where they can, while sitting at home or going to field and becoming a part of social help groups, farmers, or the way they want, so that they should not feel the way the society is making them to feel. So with these words, my trust is always welcoming all those women and wanting that we are helping them from health, education, and all other things they are needing in their life. We are in the field and giving a big PSUs or Hindustan Times CSR work I am doing. I am writing a journal of medical cases. Why so much medical negligence is there? Because the people, they are not aware of good food. The grassroots of your health is food. So if food you are eating right, and the people, those they are, not giving you good food, you should also come up and say, ये खाकर मुझे problem हुआ है. और इस डॉक्टर ने मुझसे कंसेंट नहीं लिया था और मेरी किडनी निकाल दिया। मेरा जिस इंडिया में फर्स्ट मेडिको लीगल जर्नल लिखने के बाद मैंने महसूस किया मेडिको लीगल केसेस के थ्रू जो हम अवेयरनेस लोगों को दे सकते हैं और जो वट एवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल राइट they can enjoy only if in the field we will work and we can help them. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, I would like to ask you that, advocacy has changed in over 70 years, past 70 years. What are the changes you have seen in the past decade? How advocacy has changed for the women? What are the recent laws that are there which have, helped women rise and, upliftment of women?
So as Dr. Ambedkar said, that educate, organize, and agitate. I think our constitution lays down all the principles of equality, dignity, righteousness, life, and liberty. Talking about laws that have helped women over the past couple of years and those which are coming in future are like this: the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act that was promulgated by the Parliament in the year 2013, the Maternity Benefit Act, which was promulgated in the year 1961, and amendments were made in this act in the year 2017 when maternity benefit was increased from 12 weeks to 26 weeks. POSH Act, the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act, that says prevent sexual harassment at the workplaces. So if there is a misconduct, a charge sheet has to be given to the culprit person. There has to be an inquiry. Principles of natural justice have to be complied with. The report has to be given. And if the charges are proved, appropriate disciplinary action has to be taken against the male employee. There can be also criminal penalties that can be imposed on the male employee. Then talking about workplace laws such as Equal Remuneration Act, the Equal Remuneration Act provides for equal work opportunities to women employees and also equal pay to the women employees. Apart from these three acts, you've got Shops and Establishments Act, the Factories Act, which says that women cannot be made to work in hazardous procedures or they cannot be made to work for late night hours. And if they have to be made so, then there have to be made conditions prescribed for them. So there have been lots of acts, lots of promulgations, but what the country lacks, as we were discussing, is that not the promulgation of laws, but the execution, the implementation, and the awareness of laws. While laws are many, but we can achieve the purpose of these laws if we can take the awareness of these laws to the grassroots level. We can see these are implemented in full spirit. How we can ensure implementation? By use of technology, by posting the laws on websites, by telling people about it, by making them aware about it, by putting the compliances of various companies on the websites, by putting things like CCTV cameras, by having, disciplinary action taken against the officers who don't execute the laws. So while laws are many, there has not been execution of it, implementation of it. Talking about advocacy, I would say that, there have been lots of hardworking women in last more than 2-3 decades, and their hard work is now forbearing fruits because now we have got lots of, great lady judges and senior counsels. One we have over here, Priya, with us. And the hard work that they've put in the last 20-30 years is now forbearing fruits when we have them, and it's very encouraging and inspiring to see all of them. That's what I have to say on this.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, Priya ma'am, I would like to ask you that in your career, such a long career, have you ever faced any gender bias or any stereotypes or any type of barriers that you have come in your entire career, gender-based?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be amongst all of you, and of course, my co-panelists and my dear friends for many years. I would start by saying that I belong to a family of lawyers. My mother was born in Nairobi, moved to India. My father was born in Karachi, moved to India. They both started practicing in the Supreme Court. When my mother joined the profession in 1964 or 61, there were only 4 women lawyers at that point in time. So you can imagine what was the condition when she joined the courts. There were only 4 women. She has been my inspiration for joining the legal profession because they both started public interest litigation in India with the case of the under-trial prisoners and the Bhagarpur blinding case, which you've all read and heard about. So when at our house, me and my brother and sister, three of us, always had dinner table conversations of law, cases in court, the kind of atrocities the underprivileged people faced in our country, and the kind of lack of implementation, as Ravi mentioned, of the laws and the non-performance of governments across the country. So I think it was the obvious choice to join the legal profession. Now, coming to your question of whether I faced any gender bias, I must say I've been lucky that I have never had any issues in the court vis-a-vis any kind of a harassment or any kind of problems, because I come from a family of lawyers. But yes, this kind of an issue does arise with first generation lawyers, and particularly women, men also, but women more so. And it is obvious, and it is still there, that there is gender discrimination in the legal profession or in the judiciary, as it is there in the parliament or in other walks of life. We still haven't been able to come about with the 33% in parliament, despite the fact that everybody talks of women empowerment. We also haven't still come around to the fact that we should have 50% judges in the court. In Supreme Court, as of date also, we only have 2 women judges. It was an uphill task for a lady to become officer of the government. So yes, there are issues, as there are issues in the police, as there are issues in the government, across the board. But to look at it at the brighter side, I would say that lot of talk, lot of awareness is being created for women empowerment.
Ma'am, but can you please tell us why do you feel that there is this thing? Because it's been 70 years. Dr. Ambedkar said that, about, one person and women should be equal, and and we have been working, and it's been 70 years. And right now, like you were saying, we have such senior advocates among you all are there. That we have very senior politicians also. We have very senior government officials also in bureaucracy. However, I have always heard that, there has been this gender discrimination at various levels. There has been this, like you were saying, there are no Supreme Court, like hardly any Supreme Court judges. Not many women are there at those. Can you just explain why do you feel what according to you is lacking, or what according
I
to
think
you is
it's
the
the mindset. I mean, we all know it is the mindset. It's the mindset in India, particularly, that that women are not as good as men, or they have to prove themselves as much as harder than the men have to prove themselves. It all boils down to mindset. So when you started by saying that men and women both have to work together to change the mindset, or to bring about change in this country, I would slightly differ with you to say, I think, the homemaker is a woman. For years and years, traditionally in India, the homemaker, the person who nurtures the children at the early young age, is a woman. So a lot depends on how the woman nurtures the male child in the house. It is very important. Education begins at home and then in school. So when you talk of the change of the mindset, according to me and according to the work we all do and we see in the courts every day, it starts at home. It is the mother who is responsible for nurturing the male child, to make the male child understand that he and his sister, his siblings, are equal. If they have to eat together, it's not one serving the other. And it's not the male child has to get education first and the girl has to do the housework. So it has to start at home. So it is again, when we talk, we've just recently had various discussions in various forums where we talk about, women. It's all lip service when you talk about the politicians, when you talk about the bureaucracy, that we must get women, a fair chance, women empowerment. It doesn't happen, and it's not happening, and it's not going to change until 50% women are there in parliament, 50% women are there in the judiciary, to actually take this forward. This is what I personally feel.
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I think what Priya ma'am was saying is so true. I think we all sitting here agree with you, ma'am. And I just want to quote something. Once Mahatma Gandhi ji said that when women can walk freely on the roads at night, that day we will say that we have achieved the true independence. And I think we have not yet achieved that true independence. Till now, the way we hear the cases of the rape and I'm not talking about the rural areas only, it keeps happening in the broad daylight of urban cities as well. I mean, as ma'am, you said that the mindset, I think that is the key word, the mindset. Because, I mean, when I see the parliament proceedings also, when a woman gets up to ask a question, I mean, she is just looked at like as if, you can ask later on. And, I mean, as if she is devoid of some good knowledge. So that is very surprising for me. And, and at the time of, in fact, choosing the office bearers for a political party, because where I am right now, I mean, I represent Delhi BJP and I'm also in the state executive board as a member there for Delhi BJP. And when I fought my battle in my own way, and I do not have any godfather. I do not have any political background. I come from a business family, and I became the first generation lawyer first. And then I became the first generation politician too, because I looked after my dad's business for 10 years. And my parents, after I did my law, never wanted me to get into law practice. They said, what is the need? I mean, you are doing fine. But then that's how I made my way. I did what I wanted to do. So, you have to prove double. If we compare ourselves with the men, I fully believe what Vikasji said, that men and women both are important for the society. I am not a feminist saying that, women on the top should be always there. It should be judged as per the capability of a person. I mean, I am not at all a gender biased person that saying, no, all women need help and they are all in the bad situation. I will not say that, because I can see women enjoying the special privileges too. And at times there are misuse also. I'm sorry to say that, it's maybe at the wrong platform, but I'm being very honest. And I personally feel that what ma'am you said was the mindset that begins at the home is very important. Our men needs more training than the women, because the moment the two children in the house, a male child and a female child, they grow together, the mother will call the female and says, please learn cooking. And say, why? Because you need to go and look after the kitchen. And my question is, in case if the boy has to go and work outside somewhere, how will he fill his stomach? And lockdown has taught us very well, I think. Every man, felt that they should know cooking. The same way a woman can, if they can drive, if they can fly a fighter plane. And, once more incident I would like to tell you, Vidushi. A friend of mine, again, a very prominent male lawyer, I don't want to name him. Today I'm thinking about him somehow on this stage. He asked me, Pooja, why do women all the time shout that we want equality, equality, and we want to do what men do? I said, I am not among those women. I am not saying I want to do what men can do. I want to do something what men also can't do. So he said, so that's the spirit in us. I mean, that's the way it should be, because I feel women can do everything what men can do, but men cannot do certain things what women can do. And women are too strong by nature. We have so many invisible hands, which I think we are the cooks, we are the homemakers, we are the drivers, we are the politicians. And now recently, I'm so proud to share this. I think most of you would be knowing that Air India women crew, all women crew, they flew the most difficult air route. And, I feel so proud in saying that I'm an Indian, and all the Indian, I salute all those Indian, women crew who flew that difficult air route. So, women are doing that thing. I mean, if somebody if I talk about 20 years back, if some woman would say that I want to, fly a fighter plane, the parents will say, oh, come on, what are you talking? How can you do that? Just sit and learn and be a teacher, get a job, get married, settle down. That's your life. But now these days, women, I see so many young females coming to me, Pooja ma'am, can you guide us how to get into politics? The moment they say word politics, parents will say, oh, no, it's not the good line for you. How come you go to politics? We don't want to put... In fact, lawyers, many young lawyers come to me, ma'am, if we start practicing, we won't get a nice boy. They don't want a lawyer female. They will put a case against us only. So I get such, humorous things to listen. So this kind of mindset is putting our society back. This kind of mindset is putting India much behind. I mean, if we talk about, and I am a staunch follower of our Honorable PM Narendra Modi ji, who says that, women have to be really, independent in all the ways. And Atmanirbhar Bharat, what we are talking these days, we are trying to make all the women Atmanirbhar, whatever way. I mean, maybe it can be the rural making of some pottery, or it can be the, as Nirmala ji has said, the NGOs which are taking care of the women. That's a very noble thing, and we all women have to be independent in the financial way, in our own mindset, and just follow your dreams. All the women watching me virtually, physically, follow your dreams. Look at the highest dreams. Think of the highest dreams what you can think, and just go on. Hard work, there is no alternative for hard work. And follow your dreams, follow your heart, and you will get what you want. Thank you.
Ma'am wanted to add something.
What I want to say is that at the end of the day, whether it's a multinational, it's a corporate, even if it's government, whether it's a man working or a woman working, what the organization ultimately wants is result. Whether you're a man, if you're performing well, you're there. If you're not performing well, you're not there. Even with a woman, you're good, you're there. You're not performing good, you're not there. What I think our country lacks is education. Why is it that a girl studying in Harvard has a different vision from a girl in a remote area? Because there's a difference in education. There's a difference in vision. What we really need to do in our country is to extend the education system to the remotest parts of a country, to have industrialization in the remotest parts of a country. Swami Vivekananda once said, if you want to make people work, show them the will, improve the economy. At the end of the day, it's all about economics. It's all about, earnings. If economics is there, industrialization is there, money is there, I am sure the mindsets will change. There'll be good factories, good shops, good establishments, good industries in the remote part of areas. I am sure the families will certainly send the girls also out to work. If there are good education systems in the remote part of areas, if the education is made compulsory even more, then certainly women folk would also rise to the level of men, whether it's parliament or it's judiciary or it's multinationals or it's anywhere. So my point is that extend education system, extend economy, extend industrialization, extend implementation of laws to the remotest part of the country.
Ma'am, I would like to ask, or I would like to share something. By the end of the day, even if one girl from India is studying in Harvard or studying at IIM or studying whatever, like they have flying fighter planes, by the end of the day, if you're looking for a groom, the ladka walas will always ask, ladki ko khana banana aata hai ki nahi aata? This is one problem that I've always, questions. Is this a compulsion that only a girl needs to know how to cook, even if she has achieved so much, even if she's why can't, like ma'am said, that why, like, lockdown has taught men to work, but still by the end of the day, like ma'am said, that we are not teaching our boys what needs to be taught. We are not treating our boys and girls equal. We are treating our teaching our girls that you are the homemakers, and we are teaching our boys कि नहीं बेटा तुम्हें तो खाना नहीं बनाना है, तुमको आगे जाकर काम ही करना है. This is, I feel, apart from education, yes, we need education, and we also need to change our mentality as every individual. Like, we need to understand that women and men are equal, right? So ma'am also wanted to say something, ma'am.
See, I think the younger generation now particularly is making these choices and the changes. So if you look at the generation after us, and you will find that both the boy and the girl do want to, look after the house. They help each other. They look after the children. So that change is there. And I think a lot of it is also there because a lot of people who have studied abroad and have come back, or they do settle down abroad, they know that they have to do the work and they have to manage on their own. They don't have caretakers, they don't have the staff, so they do that. there is a change, and I hope it's for the better. But at the same time, I don't see any reason why I mean, for women, it's a natural instinct to be able to cook or to manage the house or look after the children. I think it's in our DNA. Women do multitask anyway. But yes, it's important for to encourage the men folk also. But if you look at it from in the rural areas, you will find a lot of men folk doing a lot of cooking, and because it is a matter of interest that they do it, and things are changing, and I hope they change for the better. I'll keep it very short.
Ma'am wanted to.
Yeah, as Pooja, Ravi, and Mrs. Priya, you said, I agree with this. But on the whole, we should not talk about only the 5% of women. If at the grassroots level, overall the condition of women, you will think about what is the reality. On that basis, we should think. And eradicating poverty as well as the rights, it is also a cause. That is why we are discussing and sitting here how we can solve the problems the whole India is suffering. Why the cases are increasing instead of, all this, although all the laws are there. The gaps are there, implementation problems are there, enforcement authorities, they are not able to help all those they are suffering. As Pooja said, that one of the crew member, she's close friend of me, Nivedita Basin. And I know her for the last 15 years. If you will see, 10 family members, they are captains of that area. So think about this, the finances, the poverty, and the helplessness, the whole India, below 70, bajay 75%, they are suffering. From where the finances are coming. That is why they have lot of money, they can go to Harvard. What about the students? Even they are not able to go to schools. We have to think about that. So these are the things Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar said, and we want that how we can help at that level. Not about this only, that the people, those they can give 10,000 for the tutor and for the good schools, the automatically environment will be different. So good thing, good humanity, and at the level where the marriages even are settled on the caste basis. If she is or he is of this caste, only we will go for this. If the gaps in all areas will not be covered up, this cannot be over. So my request, and to all the friends, we should all work for this, and in deeply and in depth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'll have to excuse myself because I have a webinar at 5:30. I have to speak somewhere else. But thank you so very much for having me. Thank you, Vikas ji, and your full team. And kindly excuse me. Thank you, Vidushi.
Ma'am, I have a question from you, ma'am. Dr. Ambedkar has always linked gender with caste, and he has always made it very, it was always a crucial position that women hold a very, in the society, it's very important for women to be educated. And as a Dalit woman, ma'am, how do you feel that casteism and there is a caste discrimination that exists till date, and there is a women discrimination that is there. What, according to you, how the Dalit women are, what the discrimination Dalit women are facing, how in these 70 years of our freedom and of the constitution, how much upliftment Dalit women have, felt, or the change that has happened, ma'am?
Yeah, this is a very good question for this. I would like to say the way Indian women, and especially Dalit girls, are living, staying, and the problems they are facing, again, education part. They are not educated, they are not aware. The family is so poor. Even 2 days back, one case was there that a 15 years old girl has been kidnapped in our Vasant Kunj area. And the police station of that area said that FIR नहीं होगा, आप इनको कहीं और पता करिए, लड़की अपनी मर्जी से गई होगी. उसके फ़ोन को ट्रैप नहीं किया गया. And then personally I requested that SHO कि at least you should help that girl. वो 15 years old girl है, she's little mentally retarded. So these kind of things if happening, And marriages basis, again, I am saying people, they are having lot of money, and this data, one is at very higher level, the other is at very lower level. These gaps and the covering, until unless they are not skilled, they are not getting good jobs, they are facing discriminations. And honestly, if the person being a woman at this level, instead of earning per 1 lakh rupees case, if I am working, my mission, my passion, my target is this, to help. How many people they are, working on this? How many governments? Definitely they are trying. But the motivation and encouragement, everything, they should come within. All people, those and students, they are listening. If अंदर से उनकी आवाज़ नहीं आती है कि मुझे इससे खुद को भी निकलना है, एज पूजा सेड, कभी ये फील नहीं करना है, वो कास्टिज्म में और इन चीज़ों को, गैप्स को कवर करते हुए डॉक्टर B.R. अम्बेडकर ने खुद बोला है, ये गैप्स और ये अवेयरनेस है, और अपना आप एजुकेट करके अपने आप को कम टू दैट लेवल वेयर यू शुड नेवर फील इन्फीरियरिटी. अगर आपके अंदर इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स आता है तो देयर इज दैट थिंग थ्रू विच यू कैनॉट थिंक ऑफ योर प्रोग्रेस. डर के आगे जीत है. डॉक्टर B.R. अम्बेडकर ने इंडिया में वो काम किया है जो शायद जनरल कैटेगरी में नहीं हुआ उस टाइम, और इस चीज़ को आगे रखते हुए टॉर्च लाइट की तरह यू शुड read about them, all the cases, all the help you want, and this institute, I think, is a great help to all of you. So we should appreciate that and should come forward, and the way we want the India will be the way Mr. Modi ji is thinking. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you, friends. Thank you, all of you.
To add on to what you said, Modi ji has also started with a lot of policies there for the rural women, like Ujjwala Yojana is there, Mudra Yojana is there to make them financially independent. And in fact, PM Awas Yojana is there for many people who could not even dream. And best part about that is that most of the title of the houses would be in the name of the women. So again, there are many things which are happening right now. And as you said, Nirmala ji, a lot of things are happening at the rural level also, and at the overall development of India. And our PM is very, very close to the subject. He wants the women empowerment in the true sense. And I feel proud to be one of the soldiers of his team, where I work day and night for the women empowerment in a real sense, not only just for in these four walls of the auditorium. So I go to the ground level also, and that's how I have seen there is a lot of change if I compare it what it was a few years back. So we are very hopeful, Vidushi, and how the things will be, and I can see a more progressive India with and yes, the society has to change their mind. That has to be progressive, irrespective of saying tum ladki ho, tum piche khadi ho jao, tum ladke ho, tum aage aa jao. And the worst part is in the rural areas, the girl child is not sent to the school first, and if she is sent, then she is asked to drop out early. And even if that happens, she is not allowed to work. And if she is allowed to work, then the watch is there ticking. You should be home back, by this time. And whereas the men are given free hand to work as many hours as they do. And I mean, it's not the fault of the parents. The parents are absolutely fine. It is the problem of the society. We need to change the mindset. That is the key word we have. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, and I feel that we need to change the mindset, and plus we need security, and we need to create a secure world for our women. Also, ma'am, one last question I would like to ask all of you, that during these many years of your career, have there been any women that you all have helped? And is there any case or any incident that you all would like to share with us?
There have been some women that I've helped, and there have been so many women who have helped me. I get a lot of daily encouragement from both the female and the male senior counsels, the honorable judges. And when we see women litigants in court, the male litigants in court, the young people, the old people, the kids, we of course as lawyers, as our duty, go out and help them. I have also done a lot of legal aid work, and I've also been associated with some NGOs that are helping women. In fact, recently, one of my articles was published with Amar Ujala, and thereafter this lady from UP called me. I would not take the name because she has a pending case. Her child was, as a minor, raped, and she was saying that probably she is not being helped, taken to court, she's not allowed to attend the hearings. So I spoke with a lawyer there in UP, and to assist her properly, to allow her inside the court, to see the constructive proceedings happen, to see the witnesses are not made hostile. So that ways we help each other each day. And the woman who inspired me, my own mother, she's been such a big inspiration for me. My own grandmother, who taught my mother, not to really just get married at a certain age, but to concentrate towards education and financial stability. In fact, I would say inspiration is everywhere, right from a construction woman worker to a self-employed worker, to a factory worker, to somebody working in a shop, to the people in politics, to the professionals, to the people in glamour. Every woman is so inspiring.
And what about you?
I'll tell you a very recent case. A year back, female journalist. She was having a debate. I cannot name the politician there on the other side. That was a live debate, And there was a live debate, and the journalist dared to ask a question which did not make the politician very happy. So she talked about some corruption matters of the government and whatever all. And he got so offended that he started abusing her on air in the live debate. And the girl is very bold. She's a friend of mine. And she went and she lodged a complaint against him. And FIR was lodged. And then, I told her that I would be doing her case free of cost. Nothing I'm going to charge. She must go ahead with it. And now, he's facing tough time. And he's the sitting MLA of our government, I don't want to name it publicly here. So the point is that when a woman thinks, and she's just a normal, ordinary journalist, and that too of not a very prominent channel, and she said, Pooja, what will happen? I said, don't you worry. Anything goes wrong, I'll do a press conference and I'll make you sit with me and you will speak everything and anything about him. So that's how people will learn how to respect women. Look at the audacity of that person, that he started literally abusing on air. And that's how I took over that case, and I made it a point that she gets justice irrespective of his status. We do not care. We have our self-respect. No matter she is big or small in front of him. That's his mindset, not ours. So Vidushi, we have to always, even a big or small case, no matter what it is, if the woman is, criticized, or if she is misbehaved, or if her dignity is put down, just because she's a woman, I am always with her. But at the same time, I do not like the women's rights to be misused also against men, because at times that also happens. It's not that all the time women are right. I can't say that. I mean, it's totally wrong for me to say that, because men also sometimes are harassed by the women. And I think we should consider that also. At times I get cases, I tell the women, do not do that. Otherwise, you're going to have the reverse reactions also from me. So, at that time, I think we all need to do that also, because many times men also come and it's all false allegations, especially at the time of 498A, which was a big problem for the men, So, and especially rape matters also. I mean, false promises of marriage. The moment the guy doesn't want to do it, you're just entangling him in the wrong situation. So these kind of things should also be avoided, and we should try to make women strong. We should try to change the mindset of the men, but overall the society will run smoothly only and only if both are given equal respect, and nobody should be demoralized. There should be no humiliation on the basis of gender. That's important.
Absolutely. Very well said, yeah. Ma'am, yes.
I know we are running short. Mrs. Veena Kohli, All India Women Conference, and one of my colleagues, Mrs. Sang Mitra, she's also sitting here. They are great inspiration for me, because after so many years, working together, and I have seen we should work, and how I have worked. My mother, she taught me that the helpless lady is not, she's not always helpless, as she said. But the question is, so many incidents, so many things where it could be because of money, domestic violence, the other reasons, dowry system. I have helped so many, even NRI ladies. They are helpless, but they have no money. Free of cost, I am giving them the legal aid and giving them little bit money to start up your own business, so that you can cover the gap, and again, should come to that platform where you can breathe at least at peace, because peace of yourself is very important. If we are able to give peace to any person, I think that is much more than any other help. Holding hand and just consoling that everything will be all right. Not by saying, but practically if we can help, that is more important. With these words, I'm saying I have helped, and I am I'm seeking advice every day, because learning the whole life we should learn and give help to others.
Two things I would like to add here. Once I went to a seminar like this, and one very senior lady gave a suggestion. She said that, problems of women, actually these should be subjects of men. If men start talking about and fighting about problems of women, certainly the ones who are creating a problem will improve. So that's one thing I wanted to add. So women's fight, women's subject shouldn't really just be a woman's subject, but it should more be a man's subject as well. If 50% men are not so good, the rest 50% are very good. So the rest 50% can teach the not so good men. And second, I would want to add is that there is a difference in perception and reality. Maybe we are percepting or we are thinking of something to be wrong, but the reality, the inside, they say it's the thought that is important. The thought which is going inside that male person or the female person is totally something different. So I feel, apart from the education system, the execution of laws, the industrialization that I stressed upon, what we also need in our country is inculcating moral and spiritual values. Once we'll have the right morals, the right knowledge, the right thought process, I think half of the problems will vanish. Thank you.
Anyone would like to ask any question? Any questions? Any suggestion, question, anything? No? Okay. Yeah, ma'am. All are happy. All are happy. Okay, I would like to thank everyone, ma'am. And sir, would you, yeah, please, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. We had a very, very learned panelist today here, in terms of Priya ma'am was here, Ravi ma'am is here, Pooja ma'am and Nirmal ma'am. I really thank each one of you for enlightening us with all your good thoughts. And also we are all now, our brains are tickling that this is a major issue which the society need to think about and empower our partners. You are all the females, they are all partners in the development of the country. So I think if we all think about it and we all think in these lines, so the country will definitely reach higher levels. Thank you so much, each one of you. Thank you.